Hey folks, welcome back to UK Here We Grow. Now as you can see, I'm by the potatoes. Here is the first row that we planted for the container versus ground experiment, and behind me here is the containers that we planted for that experiment. But we're not doing that today, but if you want to see the results of that experiment, keep your eyes peeled. But today we are going to be looking at some more new potatoes, a variety called Charlotte, and we've got 2 buckets of those left, and they're first early, or second early technically, but the first early that they grow them as, and we're going to get them out of the ground now. All the tops have died off, so it's time to get going on that. So these are the 2 buckets we got here. As you can see, they pretty much had their day. We're going to lift these and we're going to have a look to see what we sort of get out of both of these, and I will take those potatoes home and we will weigh them on the scales at home because I haven't brought the scales with me today. But these are the last 2 buckets of the early potatoes that they've grown. We then got some of the giants with all these canes there, and these are the buckets behind us. They stand to go over, but they're the buckets behind us for the ground versus container experiment. But today these 2 are coming over there, where we are going to put them in the wheelbarrow and have a look what we are going to do with them. Okay guys, so we just need to pull out the tops off these. We're going to stick them down there. As I've already said, we've got a variety here called Charlotte, and I know we've already done, I had a look at a bucket of these, but that was earlier in the year. These are now totally and utterly finished. So this first one we're going to empty. We'll put that down there. I think what I'll do, I'll bring you in a little closer so you can see what's going on here. Okay, so they are still quite moist, but we got some good spuds in here. I'm not sure the weight is going to be. Could have left them no longer. There's some of them with a few cracks in, and that'll be down to the weather, I think. But now, the reason I grow these in containers, guys, is because it allows me to plant these nice and early, and they can be put in the tunnel, and on nice days they can come out, and they can come out into the sunshine, and on really bad days we can, it's bad potato, sweet potato, and on nice days they can come out, and on bad days they can go back in and not be affected, you know. But I want to talk about the compost as well while I'm here. Now, a lot of people, when we first sowed these, said, oh, it's an expensive way of doing it, you know, one lot of potatoes and all that compost. But this compost never ever goes to waste, guys. I always end up using this compost as a soil conditioner. It goes back in to sort of help retain moisture, and in this weather when it's really dry and everything else, that moisture is really important. So the way I see it is I'm investing in my soil, and as the old adage goes, you should feed your soil and not the plants, because by feeding the soil you're providing everything the plant needs anyway. So this will help for that soil to retain the feeds and the moistures and everything else, rather than it just being passed right through. So just need to go through this a little bit more. Don't think there's much more in here. Another 2 there. And but like I said, you know, it's great. These will be the last of our new potatoes this year though, and it'll be just in time for the olds to come. So that's what we've had out of here, and I'm going to add the next bucket to this, but first off I'm going to empty this compost out just around the corner by here. Okay, so this is the other bucket. Let's get these tops off. They'll all be burnt. And again, another bucket of Charlotte. So now these are quite dry, and I've left them go dry to make it easier to harvest. It's looking quite a nice bucket actually. So I'm going to chuck them in with this one, and we're going to have a look at what we had overall weight when I get back to the house, which I will be doing very shortly. Now, over the network we've had loads of people messaging out of the UK saying that they're having problems growing potatoes and what I'm doing, and we've had people who have had issues or want to grow potatoes and they, you know, only have a small patio or something. Well, these containers are fantastic for that. As you can see, we're having some really good spreads out here. Now there's 2 buckets here. They're the first early, and you know, they'd be perfect for boiling. They're great salad potato because they've got a waxy flesh. Charlotte are beautiful spuds. So but you can grow these on a patio very, very easily. Look at that, beautiful. Now I'm not sure what sort of weight you're going to have here, but we will find out now when we get home. So while I'm at this, guys, what variety of potatoes are you harvesting at the moment? Are you guys into your main crop yet, or are you pulling still pulling your first and second earlies? What varieties are you actually pulling, and how have you found this weather with them? Are they suffering with the heat that you've been having? Put your answers down in the description below, and let everybody see what's being grown and how well it's been doing with this weather. I'm not sure how well the main crop are going to look. I think that's it, guys. I'm going to level this off. I'm going to pour them out and have a little look at them. So all in all, guys, not a bad little haul from, you know, from there's a couple of ones with a little bit of a split in or whatever, but not a bad haul for 2 buckets there. There's a few pound here. I think what we'll do, we'll take these, we'll weigh them when we get in, and I'll tell you what's what with that. Now, like I said, this is 2 buckets, and we're not expecting like 15 pound of potatoes out of each bucket for first early, guys. You're looking around about between 4 and 6 pound usually of potatoes is a good sort of yield. So anything over 8 to 12 pounds I'm going to be really happy with. I'm not sure what's in here, but we'll endeavour to find out when we get back. Okay, so there we are, that's it. Okay guys, I'm going to do this a little quick because the battery's running out, but as you can see I've got an empty thing here, and we're going to tear out the scales, so they're now showing as 0. Okay, and we're going to put these spuds on. So we got 5.68 kilos, and I'll zoom you in so you can see that. I think 5.685 kilos. I'll put a conversion in pounds just below for you guys as well. Well guys, as you can see, that was a fantastic weight in the bucket. Now as you can see behind me, we still got all the main crop as we saw in the beginning from the buckets and the ground, and that is going to help us look again for the second year running on what's better, container grown or ground grown potatoes. Now I've been a massive advocate of these Oakland garden buckets, and if you guys are looking to grow things in containers, these buckets are fantastic. They're 30 litres in volume and they work brilliantly, and I'll put a link to Oakland Gardens in the description below because that's where you can get these buckets from. But going back to these other buckets and the ground, that experiment, now this is the second year we've run that experiment. Last year the buckets actually produced double the yield over the ground potatoes. Now there's a bit of a drawback this year in that we've had all this heat, and as you can see this one is very dry. I'm not sure how well the bucket main crop potatoes will have done because of the heat and everything else, so it'll be very interesting to see how the ground has fared over the buckets, and I'm wondering whether or not we can have a draw this year as far as ground bringing up and catching up over last year, which will mean if that's the case I'm going to have to do a third year just to find out which is the overall winner. But if that's what we need to do, that's what we'll do. But if it comes out that buckets are on top again this year, then we probably won't do this experiment next year because it'll be obvious that the buckets are winning or the containers are winning. Anyway guys, that's it from me. Don't forget to put your answers to the questions I've just asked you down in the description below. I really appreciate you sharing my videos around with everybody else because that helps me get found in the YouTube algorithms, and also allows other gardeners to come here and learn and share ideas with you guys in the description and the comments and everything else. So if you haven't already and you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button. Really love to have you as part of the community, and don't forget to leave that comment, share the videos, and I will be seeing you in the next one. Bye bye guys.